Outstanding anthem. We continue this morning, as we've had this theme through these fall season, on living the love of Jesus, which is our vision for the church and the vision statement of our church. And we're looking at it in different aspects. First, we looked at living the love of Jesus within the church, and now we're looking at living the love of Jesus more in terms of our home and what does it mean to live the love of Jesus in our family relationships. And today I want to specifically focus on what does it mean to live the love of Jesus in terms of our youth and our children. I want to tell you a little story of something that happened to me this last week. It still is a little bit scary to me. I was over in Glenpool on 141st Street, and I was traveling west. And I was coming up on I-75 there, and I saw the McDonald's, and I decided I wanted to go and get a cup of coffee and a biscuit. And so I had my left turn signal on. I was waiting. I was watching the traffic, in the eastbound lane, waiting for it to clear so I could make my turn. And when it finally cleared, I stepped on the gas, getting ready to pull across the street into McDonald's. And right as I started going forward and started to turn, totally out of my line of vision from the other side of the street came a young man on a skateboard skating in front of my car. I slammed on the brake. I almost hit him, and he just skated on across and then started down the street by McDonald's. I was so mad. I was so upset, and I thought briefly about driving after him so I could have a talk with him, and I thought, that might look a little aggressive, chasing a kid on a skateboard with a car, and chase him down a little bit. So I thought, maybe that's not a good idea. So I went on in McDonald's, and I kind of calmed down. It scared me to death, really, and I calmed down, and I went and ordered my coffee and my biscuit, and I turned around, and there, walking in the door, was a young man with a skateboard. I thought, there he is. Now, I wasn't 100% sure that it was him. It seemed like school was out that day, and there may have been lots of kids on skateboards, I don't know, but it sure looked like him. And I pondered, should I say anything to him or not? But finally I thought, no, I'm going to approach him and approach this subject. So I walked up to him. He must have been a junior high or early high school student, pretty tall young man. And I walked up to him and I said, would you happen to be the young man who skateboarded in front of my car as I was turning left off of 141st Street here a few minutes ago? And he looked at me and he said, well, do you see anybody else skateboarding around here? And then I had a decision to make. Whether to escalate this little tension that was going on and up the ante or to take a different approach. And I decided, what is my goal? And I changed my approach and I said, look, here's the thing. I said, I was frightened that I was going to hit you with my car. I'm in a big car and you're on a skateboard, and I think it would have done more damage to you than my car. And I said, the thing is, I'm just concerned about you. I was fearful for you. I don't want to see you get hurt. I don't want to see you get injured or seriously hurt or even killed. And I said, beyond that, I don't want to have on my conscience the thought that I was responsible for a serious injury or a fatality and to have to live with that the rest of my life. And really, all I'm asking you to do is to just be more careful. And when I said that, it's like he kind of let go of the tension, and he looked at me and he said, I'm sorry. And he said, thank you for sharing that with me. And he said, I will try to be more careful. I said, please, I really want the best for you, so thank you so much for listening to me. And I went and got my order, and as I left, we kind of waved. And in some strange way there, he waved at me as I went out the door. I felt like we kind of connected, even if just for a little bit, in what could have been a very serious and tragic situation. I came back to my office to prepare for my message this morning, and this was the passage on teaching the children well. It's Deuteronomy 6, 4-9. Starts with what's called the Great Shema. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. The great commandment, love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. And then it goes on to say this isn't just an academic thing for us. This is something that we are to live. We are to live this love of God. He says, these commandments that I speak to you today, they are to be on your hearts. We are to have the love of God, not just on our mind, but on our heart. But then he goes on to say, impress these things on your children. And he goes into talking about how we can live our lives in such a way as that we impress upon our children not only the importance, but live in such a way that they too will want to live the love of God in their life. And it became very clear to me that living the love of Jesus means that we are to live and demonstrate this love to the youth and to the children that are in our home, and to the youth and the children that we have the opportunity to fellowship with and be around. There's three things that stand out to me. If we're going to live the love of Jesus in such a way that we're going to have an impact, we're going to impress, we're going to have an impact on the lives of the children that are entrusted in our care, three words stand out to me. First of all is to connect. We need to connect to them. You know, there have been studies that have shown that youth, if they have even one adult with whom they feel bonded, one adult with whom they feel connected, it can be a parent, a grandparent, a foster parent, a coach, a teacher at school, a friend through the scouting program, something like that. If they have even one person whom they feel somewhat connected with or bonded with, their tendency towards truancy, delinquency, substance abuse, all of those things goes way, 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 way down. Just if someone will take the time to connect with them. The sad thing is that there are many youth today who do not feel there is one trusted adult to whom they can turn, to whom that will listen to them, who they feel connected with. And if they don't have an adult with whom they can connect with and listen to and talk to, who are they going to get their advice from? From their peers, from others that they're going to connect with in their own age group who may not be leading them in the best way. But our first role is just simply to connect with people. It says in verse 7, we are to impress these things, these principles, these values, these teachings upon the children. And the fact of the matter is, we can't impress anything on anybody until we connect with them. You know, there's a saying that says, people don't really care what we know until they know that we care. And what does that mean in a practical sense? It means that we pay attention to, we turn our attention towards, we listen to, we talk with, we be present with, we make ourselves available to, we try to connect with the youth and the children that are about us. So I want to show a little video. It's a little bit longer, I wish. It's about 4 minutes, and it's really an advertisement. So I'm not trying to raise money today for a cause. Don't take it that way. But I want you to listen in this video to the concern that's lifted up concerning what is referred to as at-risk children today. And I want you to hear one person's story, especially the story of a 72-year-old Catholic sister who has given of her life to connect with the youth of today in such a way that she has an influence and impact upon their life. Trish, is there a way we could show this little video?
Hello, my name is John St. James. I'm the President and Chief Executive Officer of the Atlantic Pacific Tung Soo Foundation. Our goal is to provide martial arts training to at-risk and disadvantaged children everywhere. The reason we're doing this is we know for a fact the martial arts can improve a child's mind, his body, and his spirit through better discipline, self-esteem, self-confidence, and self-control.
The Atlantic Pacific Tung Soo Foundation is a non-profit charity that provides self-development and leadership training through traditional martial arts. It's for the disadvantaged and children at risk. Our instructors provide at no cost martial arts training for children who come from poverty-stricken backgrounds or low income. The Foundation believes every person deserves the opportunity, regardless of their economic means. The Atlantic Pacific Tung Sudo Foundation is providing education awareness and research funding, as well as scholarships related to martial arts studies. We're a nonprofit organization, and we want to help our communities.
I'm Sister Kathleen Navarra, a third-degree black belt with the Atlantic Pacific Tung Sudo Federation. I'm a sister of St. Joseph, working in the Alabama missions with the Edmondite Fathers for about 15 years. We're very grateful to the Foundation for providing funds so that we could have uniforms and equipment for our children here in Vredenburg. Children are intelligent and energetic, but they have very few resources in town. I'd like you to meet one of my students, Kareem.
I just want to say thank you because we really love karate, and I just want to be a black belt because I just want to be the best and work harder at what I do.
Kareem's a fine example of our class. They're all very grateful to the Foundation, and anything you can do to help would be appreciated. These children are grown and they're self-disciplined, they're self-confident, and they just love to work out. So thank you to the Foundation, and thank you to you.
Now, I've been asked, why did you start this foundation? And to be totally honest, I'm personally vested. You see, I, at one time, was an at-risk kid. When I was 15 years of age, and actually even younger, started at the age of 13, I was going the wrong way fast. I was hanging around with the wrong people. I was getting into trouble. It wasn't until I started training in the martial arts that I learned that I could think for myself. In fact, I learned a very important principle that we teach in the Foundation, and that's the STAR principle. STAR stands for stop, think, act, and review. Or for the adults, success through accepting responsibility. You see, for the first time in my life, after taking the martial arts, I went from C-minuses and D's in school. I literally went to straight A's within a period of 6 months, for no other reason than I learned how to focus my mind, how to study with discipline, and how to show respect to my teacher as well as my other classmates. It's had a major impact on my life. I went on, I graduated from college with honors. I'm now the president of a couple different organizations, and it all goes back to my training in the martial arts. This is what we're trying to do for children who could not otherwise afford it. That's why I'm here today. I'm here to ask for your help. Whether it's a small donation or a large donation, anything you do is greatly appreciated. Please become a member and help us change a life, one black belt leader at a time.
I'm really not fundraising for this organization, although I think it's an amazing organization, because what they're doing through their foundation is raising funds to provide this outreach and service to children who can't afford it and buying their uniforms and such. And I'm really not suggesting that we all sign up for karate lessons, although I'm very impressed that a Roman Catholic nun at 72 years of age would have a third-degree black belt in a Korean art Tang Sudo and would give of her time. I was so impressed with this that I called her. I wanted to talk to her. And she was so gracious, and we visited, and she said just the opportunity in this after-school program to connect with these children who, if they were not here taking lessons, if they were not here with adults that were encouraging them, if they were not here with a group giving them some kind of discipline and structure and guidance, she said they would be going in different directions. And I thought, that's the first step. Whatever the path may be, whether it's the scouting program or an after-school youth program or a karate program. I actually went over to Jinx and talked to the director of the Christian karate school over there and invited him to come over. And I said, could you offer a program like that? We watched that video. Could you offer that here in our church and to the kids of this community? And he was real honest. He said, we'd love to. We can't do it with the floor in your Family Life Center. So I'm thinking one of these days we're going to finish that out, and programs like this are going to be provided. But in the meantime, The first step is just connecting. It's making ourselves available. It's listening to. It's reaching out, whether you're teaching through the Sunday school or helping with the youth group or participating in the scouting program or working at Trunk or Treat. There's so many ways that we can make ourselves available to listen to, because when we connect, then we can influence. When we connect, then we can, as the word of the Deuteronomist says, then we can impress. The second is just simply teach. It goes on and says, talk about them when you sit in your homes, when you walk along the road, and when you lay down, and when you get up. Tie them as symbols. To me, that's teaching through family rituals. The importance of families at times having meals together, or Christmas rituals together, or vacation rituals together. Tie them as symbols on your hands and bind them on your foreheads. Write them on the door frames of your house. It has to do with letting young people know what our family stands for, what our home is about, and what's taking place in our home. I hate to use a negative illustration, but it's in the news today, and you all are familiar with the unfortunate college admission scandal that's going on. I don't want to get into the personalities of that. You all know those well. But it involves not just one person, multiple people who have basically bribed people to help their children get better scores on ACT tests, bribing people, making large donations so that children who have no athletic background can be brought in under scholarship to be a part of a team. I kept telling my dad, he wondered why I was spending so much time as a high school student hanging out in the pool hall, and I kept saying, well, I'm going to get a pool scholarship one of these days, Dad. There was no such thing. I was just trying to hope that he would buy that. I don't think he really did, and no college offered me any money to play pool to go to school. But I thought about the travesty of that college admission scandal, and I thought, what is it teaching the children? And what do we want to be teaching children? Well, in that case, it's teaching the children, first of all, we don't have enough faith in you to make it on your own. We don't have enough faith in you that you can study, learn the material, and get a good score. So there's a lack of confidence in. It also teaches that somehow, and I think this is kind of sad, that somehow, unless you get to go to a certain status of college or school, that education won't matter, that it won't be as impressive, that the world will not look on you as favorably, that it's so important that you get into a certain kind of school. That's kind of sad, I think, when we put that kind of pressure on our children, or tell them, unless you're going to this kind of school, that we're not completely proud of you or feel that you can be successful in life. And then it's teaching them that if we need to help you advance in life, we'll just cheat. How about that? How about if we just cheat in order to advance? And I thought, these are parents that no doubt love their children, are committed to their children, want the best for their children, but they're seeking to teach the wrong values, or they're going about it in a way that's totally sending the wrong message. But somehow to embrace the children of our home, our grandchildren, the children of our community, and to teach them that God loves them. We sang about the song this morning, Jesus loves you, this I know, for the Bible tells me so. And whether they go to Princeton or a community college or a technical school, or just launch out and go join the military, that God is with them, that we can be with them, and that we're with them in this journey of life, and that we love them and God loves them. These are the principles and the values, and that honesty pays. Integrity pays. Integrity matters. Far more than where you get your degree. Far more than the title that you achieve. The quality of your life is what really matters, and the nature of your relationships. And we need to think about, what is it that we're teaching the children? What is the thing that's the most important? And quite frankly, if we're not teaching them what it means to walk with God and to learn to trust God, to learn to have a relationship with God, to learn the value of accepting God's love for them and to live the love of Jesus and to live, if they can just learn that basic principle that the most important thing in life is accepting God's love for them and to love the Lord with all their heart, soul, mind, and strength, all of these other issues of life are going to sort themselves out, and we need to get back to the basics and make sure we're teaching the most important thing. And then finally, in verse 6, it says, "These things, these commandments that I give you today, they are to be on your hearts." So the three words are to connect, to teach, and to live. These things are to be on their hearts. We must live the love of Jesus. Teaching the children means giving them an example to see. It means living in such a way that they will want to imitate in us the qualities of loving God and living that love of Jesus, because I'm convinced that the world is watching. It's watching the church. It's watching Christians' homes. It's watching us. And the children are watching. They want to see how we treat one another, how we live with one another, what our attitudes are in different situations. I've shared this story before, but I'll close with this. It's a Presbyterian friend of mine, true story. Had children were little. He had ordered some pre-cut some carpet to put up in a bedroom in the upstairs of their home one day. And the carpet company brought the carpet and they rolled it out, moved all the furniture out, rolled it out into the bedroom, and guess what? Didn't fit. And in a moment of frustration, he shouted out, "Those jerks didn't cut this right. They didn't get it right." Well, about that time, the doorbell rang. And his little son went running to the door to open the door with there standing on the doorstep, one of his parishioners, and, "Hi, is your daddy home?" "Well, he's upstairs, but he's upset right now. He's trying to lay down some carpet, but those jerks didn't cut it right, And that's not exactly the message that he wanted portrayed or presented beyond the bedroom in his moment of frustration. But you get the point. The children are watching us. The youth are watching us. How do we live our lives? What does it mean to live the love of Jesus in our homes and before the children that are about us? It's connecting. It's teaching through our example. It's living in such a way that the love of God within us will be contagious to a next generation. You see, it's not really about our trying to convince or make our children love God. I'm convinced, as I think about this passage and the need before us, that it's about living in such a way that the children about us will want to love God. That they will see the value in our life, the benefit in our life, the joy in our life, the comfort and the peace that we have gained from walking with God. And that somehow they will see that and will say, "I want to walk with Jesus too. I want to live the love of Jesus too." Because that's what God is calling us to do. Thanks be to God. Amen.